Hey everybody, Scroft here. Welcome back to the channel. It's time for another FS25 update. We've had a blog drop about peas. Yep, one of the crop types, one of the new crop types coming to the game. We've also got spinach and we've got the rices, and we're going to get more information, but it has been confirmed that we're also going to be getting green beans as well. So it's nice to have spinach. We learned some interesting stuff recently about spinach. Originally, we knew that you harvest it twice, but we've also learned that we can't store it as well. So now we've got peas to look at. Let's see what information we're going to get about that. So I'll read through the blog like normal. I'll throw some pictures up as we go so you can see in full screen instead of just in this PDF blog style version. But we'll read through it and see what giants have shared. Peas are a symbol of their season, as they are among the first crops you can plant in spring. That's why they represent renewal and growth in some cultures. Something I didn't know, but it looks like we can plant them straight away in April. You can just see here that we can see the growth stages and facts that I'll bring up in a second. Also representing renewal and growth, Farming Simulator 25. Bit of a plug there. So why not combine the both? Here's an open secret for you, and it definitely is an open secret. Peas are coming to the game when it launches November 12th, which is exactly 2 months away. Not long now at all. So as you can see, peas, maximum yield per hectare, 9,600 litres. Not too bad, not the best, but not too bad at all. Average selling price, that's on easy. I was going to say that's pretty high, 3,000 there. It's going to use 250 litres of seeds per hectare, and the growth stage is 4 months, so about average. Planted in March and April, so we can plant as early as March. That is probably the earliest we've ever seen anything be planted in for crop-wise. March is usually the first. I think sunflowers we can plant in March as well, currently in FS22. And then you can harvest in July and September. But I do like them textures we got there. April texture, which is like the first growth stage, that's after it's been planted. And you got June next texture. July, you can see the blooming out. You can see that's right before the ready to harvest, and kind of like white flowers are coming off peas. And then you can see the ready to harvest texture, and then the harvest texture after, and then a withered crop as well. So some good information there. Nothing that's major, nothing standing out, but it's nice that we're getting peas in the game. I know that traditionally, especially in FS like 19 days, I know a lot of people were asking for peas. It was quite a common crop that they wanted to see come into the game, but we're finally getting it in FS 25. Right, so let's carry on. It says, in March or April, you can take your seeder and put out about 250 litres of seeds per hectare to look forward to a yield of about 9,600 litres in return, with an average selling price of £3,000 or dollars. That's on easy difficulty, though. It says an average as well, so I don't know if that's... You can obviously potentially get higher than that then. But on a normal difficulty, we're probably expecting around maybe 1,800, 2,000, I'd say. Just guessing now. You need to be ready to harvest in July and September at the latest. So from July to September. And then we've got some pictures. So what I'll do now is throw up these pictures so you can see them. And we'll go through and then we'll bring it in. But there's one down here that just stands out to me. So there we go. That is the ready to harvest texture. Look how full that looks on the ground. It's almost quite flat. I know before we saw them white flowers, but that's definitely the ready to harvest texture. I like the look of that. I do. The lighting looks good. Not really much else to say. It just looks like a very full looking crop on the ground. I'm obviously looking forward to using the actual harvester, which we'll get to in a second, but nothing else really stands out in the picture except that obviously we've seen the improved lighting and all that, and the density of the crops and everything else is increasing. You could see that there. Now, we did see this John Deere in the fact sheet that's just gone, and I love that setup, kind of like the perfect setup for, start from scratch kind of thing. But you can see that we're planting with just a standard seeder, so it confirms that peas can be planted in with a standard seeder. We've got this 3650. We can see a bit of the soil deformation there as well. But it's good to know that we're planting in with just a standard seeder. We don't need anything special for that. I'd like to see what they actually look like, though, like in a fill type. So hopefully I can get some pictures coming up soon of the fill type of peas. Because, they go everywhere. They're only small, so you can't have any holes in your trailer or anything. All right, so let's move to the next one. So yeah, you can see the Great Plains. This is all from the fact sheet Friday, but this has been included in the blog. And you can see that we're just planting in. Pretty straightforward. Nothing too special about that. We all know about seeding. We all know we've already seen this equipment in the fact sheet. And it's not like we're getting too much information about peas here, except the fact we use a standard seeder. So we've got 2 fields, it looks like here, of the peas. They look both like they're ready to harvest. And again, really nice setting. I am looking forward to seeing the Asian map, though. We've seen absolutely nothing of it yet. But I am looking forward to seeing it. I feel like we've kind of seen too much at the moment of Riverbend Springs. It's going to get to the point where we play it and we nothing's kind of new to us. Soon they're going to have to start showing us some of that Asian map just so we can kind of keep things fresh. Because, we don't want to kind of... I know it's going to look different when you play it, especially if you've got the highest settings on. You go, good PC, you're on 4K or something, high settings. It's going to look really good. Well, now that we've kind of gone up a level with the next generation, the game is definitely going to look better for that reason. But you can see fog and stuff like that. There's not much else to talk about. I'm focusing directly on the peas here, and we can see that we've got 2 fields here that are in the ready to harvest texture. And then the last picture from that section then in the blog was again just another picture of it ready to harvest. It kind of looks like maybe it's just the other angle from that one of the fields to the right hand side originally. Right, so let's continue on. It says when you need to pea harvest. When you need to pea harvest. I mean, there's going to be loads of puns in there with it. But yeah, right, this is a good one. I like the look of this picture. We'll go through this in a second, but it says, mind that you need a specialised harvester for our green little friends, the Oxbow EPD 540E. Bit of a mouthful there for the name of the tool, but that's what we're going to need. It's a self-propelled pea harvester and fun to operate. Fair play. So we've got a few pictures now, and this is going to be interesting. You can see as well we've actually got a texture. So let's start bringing some of these pictures up now. I mean, look at that. I mean, that is spot on. I mean, when I saw this originally, this was the main thing that stood out to me, this picture. I love the contrast. I love this is the ready to harvest. You can see where you've been. Sometimes that helps so much when you're actually visualizing it. And you can even see some of the tire tracks there. Maybe you can also see that some of it's actually faded away. So this part here, where maybe it's like a bit of soil deformation and also tire tracks being left, they've actually disappeared on this section, which is what we expect from tire tracks in FS22. Now that all depends on system specs as well. If you kind of pump it up, you can have more tire tracks present, but they will start to like disappear as you go. But looking at the contrast there, it stands out so much, and I like the fact we can see where we've been, and it's clear as day, and it's going to help you harvesting, because that's probably about a 3 meter header, something along them lines. So, if you're not using GPS and things like that, it does help a lot to see that kind of clear distinction between the two. It's a good point to focus on. But I do like the look of this top view. Obviously, we can't see too much, but we can see a little bit of how it's working and where it's being stored. So let's move on to the next picture. Right, this is a really good picture. There's quite a lot of detail in here. And for the first time ever, I'm just going to point this out now. We're going to zoom right in. Look at the tyre. It's actually got soil built up into the tyre. Now, this track doesn't seem... It might have a bit on the track, but I can't really see it as well. But we've definitely got some good... We've definitely got some good dirt textures going on the tool itself, on the harvester. But I love the fact that tyre's got some... it's got some soil built and stuck into it in its treads. And like I said, if you go... And we've mentioned previously, if we do go onto the road after, that's kind of going to gradually just disappear. Which I like. I'm also looking at this guy. I don't know. He might have a bit of grey hair. I've been looking previously to see if we got kind of like age-defined characters now, but nothing's standing out to me. Like, it looks like he's got maybe a bit of grey and receding hairline, but we can already set the hair. Look like maybe new clothes though. It'd be interesting to see what we're going to get with that. But no, let's focus on the actual harvest of this EPD 540E. Pea harvester. Now you can see that it's got this front bit that's kind of chopping up. There's a leaves on top which kind of coming out as waste, which you can see here. And you can see it's where it's chopping from as well. It's kind of like very short, almost like it's just been planted again. Now I doubt it regrows. You might have to replant in, but it potentially could be. But I am liking that. I think that's one of the best pictures we've seen, especially with the textures. You got dirt in the wheels as well. Yeah, I can't wait to see it in game. I almost feel like it's going to look a lot better than this, and much more clear and defined, but it's still a really good photo. Right, so we've got a Brantner trailer, Fendt Vario here. Nothing else going on, just kind of like how it's emptied into the trailer, you can see that it just kind of drops down. So you're probably not going to get a massive trailer under this tool. It's going to have to be a small trailer. But I'm looking at the characters now, trying to spot them. It's obviously been cleaned off. It's definitely been cleaned off. I mean, that might be a different kind of face, but it definitely doesn't look aged. Maybe a little bit, potentially, but not too convincing. I mean, obviously, we can't see. It's usually how it goes with the pictures. We never usually see the face too much in the images. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're getting from that. We can see the way it's tipping in, and I gather we're not going to be able to get a large trailer underneath this tool. Now, finally, we can actually see the texture of it, the filter. I know it gets a bit blurry when I zoom in, but you can see that, yeah, they are quite, obviously with them being peas, they're very loose and small. And you can tell as well from the way it's tipping out of that harvester. You're definitely not going to get a large trailer underneath that. But it's a fair harvester. It's quite long and narrow. They have done a proper focus on Oxbow, haven't they, recently? I mean, we had the DLC at one point, the Oxbow DLC in FS22, but we're now getting some more tools and everything. So we're going to get a lot of Oxbow kit going into FS25. It feels that way anyway, because we've got the spinach harvester. We've now got this. Maybe the green beans is going to be something along those lines. I don't know. Who knows? We might get an Oxbow kit for that. But I'm sure we'll find out soon. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with peas. It's going to be worth a go. Try out. Depends how competitive it is to other crops. I've always thought like soybeans sticks up there as like a crop that's really nice to grow and harvest. You don't really need to worry too much about fertilizer when using PF as well. Precision farming. We've not heard anything about precision farming as well for FS25. So hopefully we'll learn some more info about that. I know it was a mod that came to 22, not straight away, but it wasn't, we didn't have to wait too long. So hopefully it's going to be the same again. Right, so it carries on talking a bit about growth stages. I'll bring the pictures up. We'll go through them very quickly. But it says, see how the peas on your fields look. Spoiler, if it looks like the last one, it's game over for the season and your peas have withered. Fair play. I mean, we're not really going to be... I mean, if you've let your crop wither, you've done something critically wrong. So that looks like the first growth stage, because we've already seen what it looks like being planted from when we got the picture of the seeder on the back of that John Deere 3650. But you've got first growth stage, second growth stage there, then your third one, and then it's obviously ready to harvest. And that's what it looks like, harvested and then withered. So there is a difference. There definitely is. But I'll bring them up now because that's pretty much the end, as you can see, coming soon on the blog, green beans. So we've got confirmation there that probably next week we'll be getting a blog about green beans. So I'll quickly just bring these up. I'll fly through them now for you very quickly. So that is our first growth stage. That is our second growth stage of peas. And that is our third one, where you can see it's flowering now, a lot more full. But there is still some gaps there. So it definitely does get more full when we get to the next one, which is ready to harvest. And there we go. That's your ready to harvest texture, which we've seen quite a few times. Now I'm just going to finish off on this picture, which is pretty much like the one we saw before. And I said it was my favourite one. But what I do like about this one is just the fact we've got some dirt textures. You can see that tyre's picked up a bit of mud. And yeah, we're out in the field harvesting peas. I'm looking forward to doing peas in the game. I think it's one of them crops that we probably should have got a little bit earlier in maybe FS22. But I'm glad we got it now. And I think it ties in well with spinach, which is probably more interesting to do spinach because obviously you can't store it and you also get 2 harvests. So that's a really good crop to try out. And the rice is going to be completely different to anything we've ever done before. But yeah, I like it. And I'm looking forward to seeing the information on green beans. But yeah, I think these types of crop are welcome into the game as new crop types, especially. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you found it informative. Hopefully you've learned a bit along the way. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's video, which is obviously going to be about our fact sheets that are coming up. I've got some good ones, hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, I'll keep doing some videos on FS25 news when we get it. But yeah, hopefully you found it informative. If you have, give the video a thumbs up because that does help me out. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one on Farming Simulator. See you, everybody.